Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center.
I'll give you a hint. Button. That's all I'm going to say. One word. Button.
Motors disarmed.
Today I'm going to show you how to set up and configure the portal sound pack for the Taranis that I've created. So without further ado, let's get started. So in order to start the process out, you're actually going to need to make sure that you have an SD card in your Taranis and that you formatted it and set up the SD card contents folder on it. And here's my SD card. If you haven't actually done this already, you can find another video online to show you how to do it, but you got to make sure you have that pack set up and ready to go. And once you got that, stick your SD card into your transmitter, and we're going to stick our transmitter into bootloader mode. Now, in order to do that, take both of these trim switches and push them towards the middle, and at the same time, we're going to hit the power button. And you'll notice that this actually started up differently. This is bootloader mode. Now that you're here, you can actually take your computer and go ahead and plug in. I have a micro USB cable that plugs right into the bottom of my Taranis. So I can plug that in, and you'll see USB connected. And then whenever we step over to our computer, you'll actually see two drives show up. One of them represents your Taranis and one of them is your SD card. So once you put your Taranis into bootloader mode and you plug in the mini USB cable, you'll see two drives show up on your computer. One's going to be labeled Taranis, and that's your controller. You can ignore it. The other one will be named whatever you named the SD card when you formatted it before sticking it into your Taranis. I named mine Taranis D. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And just a note, if you're on Windows, things might look different, but you should still see two new drives show up, and one should represent your SD card. So I'm going to open this up. And when I do, you see that I actually already have a couple folders and files in here. These are part of the OpenTX SD card contents pack that you can download off the OpenTX website. If I go over here, you'll see opentx.org. open-tx.org is where you can go in order to get that pack. If you go to downloads and scroll down, and actually under sound packs, you'll see the full SD card contents for OpenTX 2.2 with sound packs. And you can go ahead and go in there, and now you're going to have to go through and find your model and everything. Make sure you get the right model. You can look up more information about this online. But you'll end up downloading it. It'll probably be a zip. You can just take that zip, extract it, and then inside of that you'll find all the contents that you saw in my Taranis D folder. So, open up the zip and then copy all of the contents over into the drive that represents your SD card on your computer. And you should end up here where I am. Now, once you're here, you'll notice you already have a sounds folder in here, and if we click in, you see a couple different letter codes that represent languages. We'll click into the EN for English, and in here you see a couple different sounds. These are all different selectable sounds that you can set up for switches, buttons, battery alerts, all sorts of things really. The Taranis and OpenTX has a lot of different ways of programming these sounds to play at various points, and I'll show you a couple fun ones later in the video. But what we're going to actually want to do is back up out of here, and this sounds folder, you can either delete it, or what I like to do is I like to back it up, because I like to just make sure that I have those original sounds around in case I want it. So I just rename it to Sounds Backup. Now, once I do that, I'm going to make a new folder, call this one Sounds, just to replace the one we renamed. And when we go in here, we're going to have to make a folder for our letter code. We're going to do EN, because we're only worried about English in this video. Click in there, and now, once you're in here, you're actually going to go to the sound pack, the portal sound pack that you downloaded from the link below, and you're going to unzip, and all of the contents inside of that portal sound pack, you're going to actually copy into here. So I'm going to go and find that really quick on my computer. As I just mentioned, you can use the link in the description of this video in order to download the sound pack. Just for a quick overview, that link is github.com/jarethmt/OpenTX portal voice pack. And when you get to this page, you'll be greeted with this. Now, for those of you that are familiar with GitHub, you should be right at home. But for those of you who aren't, in order to download this pack, what you can do is just click this clone or download button right here, and then click download zip. And you'll notice that my page is starting to reload, and there we go. The zip file is downloading. And once that zip's downloaded, you can click it to extract it, or if you're on Windows, you'll have to right-click and unzip. And the resulting folder will have all your files in it. And these are ready to be copied right over onto the Taranis. So all of these files you're going to want to copy over onto your Taranis. So all I do is I just select them all. You can just drag, select everything, make sure you get this folder that says system too, and then just take them, drag them over, and we'll wait for all of those items to finish copying. Alright, so once those are finished copying over, and you've got all your files in place on your SD card, you can simply go ahead and eject both of the SD card and the transmitter drives. And now we're just going to go ahead and unplug it. Alright, so now that I've got all those files copied over and I have safely ejected my Taranis from my computer, I can come back over here and grab this, and you'll see still showing connected. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the cord out, and we're back at this menu. So now, at this point, if you've done everything correctly, this next step, you should actually hear your sounds. So I'm going to go ahead down to exit, and just click.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center.
Motors disarmed.
Awesome, so it looks like everything worked. The motor's disarmed warning you may not hear. I have that already hooked up on my transmitter because I've set this up and been testing it prior to this video. But if everything worked, you should have heard that intro. And then we'll actually go over now how to set up some of these sounds, some of the fun sounds that I've incorporated, and I'll just go over some of the features and functionality here. Once you've actually got your sounds copied over onto here and everything set up, you can go through and explore some of them, and I'll just show you the easiest way to explore some of them. So if you just hit the center button, it opens up your model page. And I'm just going to click through using the top page button over here until I get to the special functions page. And you can see I already have a lot of these set up. For the sake of saving time in this video, I'm not going to go over how to set up special functions or logical switches, but I do recommend you look into it because you can set up some very advanced things on OpenTX with the Taranis. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and set up, we can just scroll down. If you just have blank ones, you can go ahead and use any of those, but I'm just going to set things up so that one of my switches, let's say this one, this top shoulder switch up here, will trigger a sound for me, just so I can listen to some of them. So in order to do that, you see I clicked on the area, and if I rotate I can select the switch, or I'll just flip that switch, and it'll actually set the switch for me. So click the center button to confirm that, roll over to here, and over here you're going to want to select play track. And in here, you'll actually see the file names of all the different available tracks that I put into this portal pack. And what you can do is you can just click through. So for example, here's one of my favorites. Let's go with the bird track. So now when I flip my top shoulder switch up here, it's going to play the bird track. So let's go.
Bird, 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 bird.
Alright, so there's plenty in here. I made sure to set up basic ones for things like self-leveling and horizon mode.
Horizon mode enabled.
And there's a lot of those that are a little less obnoxious for those of you that don't prefer the in-game long quotes. But then there's some other fun things too, you know, signal low.
Wait, where are you going? Where are you going?
And signal critical, another Wheatley quote.
Would you turn around? Is that possible?
So there's plenty in here. you know, I just tried to find a nice selection of things, but play around and
Target lost.
see what's in here, see what you like. I'm sure there's plenty of applications for the different tracks in here, and like I said, there's basics too if you'd prefer. The one other nice thing about this sound pack, it's a little more comprehensive than any other Portal sound packs that are out there, because I made sure to go through and set up the system folder to sound like GLADoS. So whenever you set up things like a switch to read off your battery voltage, for example, rather than just being read off in your standard Taranis voice pack, it'll actually sound like GLADoS. So as an example,
0 volts.
and I also have her set up to read out your signal strength.
0 dB.
So any default system alerts that you get will be read off in GLADoS's voice, and then there's a couple other fun odds and ends here and there, trim switches, and other various things. And go ahead and play around and see if you can't find them all. I don't want to ruin them all in the video, but still. So that's the Portal sound pack, and I hope you guys enjoy. Tried to make it a little bit more comprehensive than the other ones that I saw out there. If you like this sound pack and you're interested in supporting me, I would appreciate if you could, you know, go check out some of my other videos on my channel, maybe even subscribe if you like what I have to offer. Mainly I just put out FPV flight videos, freestyle every now and then. More recently I've been trying to slow down some of my footage and stabilize it, get a more cinematic look and feel, something to kind of augment some standard aerial photography shots. But anyway, I appreciate you watching, hope you like the sound pack, and enjoy!